Happening now, the man accused in a stabbing attack at the Chautauqua institution last month is headed back to court. And students return to the classroom for the first day of school in Chautauqua County today. A look at a life-saving training teachers underwent before doors reopened. Plus, a popular local gym is getting ready to reopen after being closed to the community for over 2 years.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Those stories and more are coming up. But first, the man accused of attacking a world-renowned author at the Chautauqua institution will be in court on Wednesday. Hadi Matar is scheduled to appear before Chautauqua County Court Judge David Foley for an evidence discovery conference in connection with the alleged attack on Salman Rushdie. Last month, the 24-year-old was formally indicted by a grand jury on second-degree attempted murder and second-degree assault, both felonies in connection with the August 12th attack. Now, due to international publicity in this case, Matar's counsel, Chautauqua County Public Defender Ned Barone, requested a gag order to restrict parties involved, such as witnesses, law enforcement, and legal aides, from discussing specific evidence or other related documents of this case. Now, that order, which was issued 2 weeks ago, followed several hundred phone calls to Matar while in custody at the county jail. One of those calls ultimately went through, with the accused speaking to the New York Post, in which Matar talked about disliking Rushdie and praising Iran's late supreme leader. The New Jersey resident currently sits in Chautauqua County Jail without bail. And a Jamestown man is accused of driving while intoxicated after he was found slumped over the wheel of his vehicle in the town of Panama. The Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office announced the arrest of 43-year-old Henry Reyes today. Reyes was stopped by deputies last Thursday on Panama Bear Lake Road. Now, following an investigation, it's alleged that he was driving drunk. Now, he was placed under arrest and charged with driving while intoxicated, among other violations. And a man wanted by authorities for nearly a year in connection with a home break-in and domestic dispute in the Randolph area is now in custody. New York State Police report that 27-year-old Jonathan Wright was taken into custody Saturday. In October 2021, Wright allegedly broke a locked door to gain access to a residence in Cold Spring. At the time, troopers said Wright was involved in a domestic dispute with the home's occupant, who was labeled later to flee to a neighbor's house before police arrived there. Until now, troopers have been unable to locate Wright. After he was picked up by police in Jamestown, Wright was charged with criminal trespass and criminal mischief. Now, due to bail reform, he was later released on his own recognizance. And before one group of Chautauqua County educators returned to the classroom today, they took part in what could be a life-saving training to prepare them for the school year. Our Julia Gress has more.
You never know whether it's a kid falls down in the gym and something happens, or there's an accident in shop class. We wanted to make sure that we can provide these teachers with every opportunity, every bit of training, so that in the event of emergency happens, they can buy us time.
Teachers at Maple Grove High School took part in the Stop the Bleed program, which aims to grant the non-medically trained tools to recognize life-threatening bleeding and intervene effectively. We always start with a real basic PowerPoint presentation where we just kind of introduce the topics, let them know what they're in for, right? Because a lot of people, they're not into the medical stuff. Maybe they don't know what we're all about or what the Stop the Bleed program is. We got to introduce it first. Once they get that, we then take them through 2 different sets. Teachers learned firsthand how to effectively pack a wound and how to properly apply a tourniquet. Being able to do it to a coworker is great. We can kind of use those 2 hands. We can make sure that the learning process is as easy as possible. It's not until usually they get it on themselves that they start realizing the little bit deeper, pieces of that they can be a little bit uncomfortable. They can cause discomfort, but also the amount of force that's needed sometimes to get through the muscle tissues, to get enough compressions to effectively stop that bleed. EMS officials believe having Stop the Bleed kits in public spaces, the same way AEDs are, would also be a positive step forward.
The engagement was phenomenal, and understanding the little things that we can do as educators to take care of our kids really resonated, I think, with everybody. The engagement was there, the Q&A back and forth, and then the hands-on learning. I think we're better off now, even today in the afternoon, of for keeping people safe.
Eventually, the program would be presented to students as well, so they can have this knowledge for the rest of their lives. This is something Chautauqua County Executive P.J. Wendell supports.
We teach them how to do math equations. We teach them how to balance a checkbook. We teach them other skills. These are still skills that our students can learn to go out and be a better person in the community.
Julia Gress, WNY News Now.
Julia, thank you. Continuing coverage now, where schools across Chautauqua County welcome students back to the classroom today. For the first time in over 2 years, there's an ample amount of normalcy. Our Bronson Rasmussen was on site this morning, capturing their first day back. He joins us live now in the newsroom. Bronson?
Justin, at Ring Elementary School in Jamestown, kids from pre-K to 4th grade returned to their first day of classes today. And what is a new beginning of an academic year?
This is New Year's Day for us. It's great to see kids. I was just talking with a 5-year-old here. His first day of school is very exciting. A lot of new sneakers, a lot of new outfits, a lot of new hairdos. Kids are excited. Staff is excited. We're all excited. This is a wonderful day.
This year differs in many ways compared to past school seasons. For the first time since the pandemic, COVID guidelines have been significantly reduced.
Thankfully, all of that is behind us. I hope it stays behind us, and this year is very much a normal year. We're walking around, we can see each other's faces, we can say hello, we can congregate. It's been wonderful so far.
At the elementary school, Principal Annette Miller tells us they were able to open up breakfast to students for the first time in many years as well.
We hadn't had breakfast here in the school for 2 years, so that was a big consideration for them to have, and they weren't sure exactly how to get in line for breakfast and make sure that they put their numbers in correctly and where to go.
In the end, school is a necessity that engages students with the Jamestown community.
When kids are able to engage with school, come to school, be successful in school, they can then be successful in our community, and they'll stick around, and we can have a wonderful continuing community with our future citizens.
Those with the school district would also like to remind drivers to be cautious as the school year progresses, keeping an eye out for students walking to and from school. Live in the newsroom, Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
All right, Bronson, thank you very much. Lots of smiling faces there today. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter joining us live now with a first look at our weather. And as the kids made their way back to class officially for the first time this fall, some of them maybe got the chance to jump in a couple puddles too. Got to watch those first day outfits because it certainly is a wet one out there.
Yes, it is. You don't want the kids jumping in any mud that was left over from yesterday. Look at these rainfall totals. Almost 3 inches in Olean, nearly 2 inches here in town. That was my measurement at my rain gauge. Lakewood 1.2 inches, Randolph 1.11. So you can see where the heavier rain band set up yesterday. And it wasn't so much the fact that the rain was heavy yesterday. Most of it was light. But because they were slow moving, any one of those bands that did contain some heavy rainfall, it came down in buckets. But the good news is the rain has pretty much tapered off now, but lots of clouds have just socked in for today, and that's pretty much what you're going to see out there today. 73 was the high yesterday, started the day at 62, 94 and 35 are the records. So through the afternoon, just lots of clouds, scattered drizzle, patchy fog at times, so watch for that through the afternoon. A cool day, 66 to 73, and I don't see temperatures really getting too warm here as we go into the next 7 days. We'll talk about it with the Ultimate Satellite Solutions extended forecast later on in the show, Justin.
All right, we'll see that in just a little bit. Dakota, thank you. As we continue, gas prices, they continue to fall here in Chautauqua County. We're comparing how much when looking back at the past month. And later, a Buffalo Bills themed Little People Pack once again coming back to stores here in Western New York, even in the Jamestown area, ahead of their kickoff this Thursday. Stay with us. WNY News Now is back right after this.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Looking for a fair and honest auto mechanic? Look no further than DeWyas Auto Service. Located at 140 Main Street in Randolph, our family-owned business is ready for all of your automotive needs. From general service to more complex repairs, count on DeWyas Auto to keep you on the road. We not only keep your cars running smoothly, but also looking great with our expert detailing crew. Send us a message on Facebook or call us today at 716-358-2292 to set up an appointment. DeWyas Auto Service. Fair, honest, and the best prices guaranteed.
Calling all teachers. Get your year started off right with an evening with Gary Brooks. Come see Gary as he shares his funniest school stories and strategies to build a positive school culture. Go to reginald.com for tickets and more information.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
When severe weather breaks, one team has you covered, tracking the storms as they happen. Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
Over the past month, the average price for a gallon of gasoline has decreased around 50 cents here in Chautauqua County. That's according to AAA, who says Chautauqua County's average price for a gallon of gas yesterday was $4.01. Down 53 cents from $4.54 back on July 21st. Now, statewide, the average cost for a gallon of gas in New York is $4.01, which is down 13 cents from last week. This time last year, the average price was $3.28. The national average dropped 6 cents from last week, decreasing to $3.79. This time last year, the average price for a gallon of gas nationwide was $3.19. Now, while gas remains higher than last year, AAA says drivers conserve fuel by mapping their routes, avoiding peak traffic times, and using cruise control when possible, as well as combining errands into one trip. AAA warning that as we enter hurricane season, though, oil production in the Gulf of Mexico could be impacted, which would affect prices. Well, the wet and rainy Labor Day holiday detoured plans for some family barbecues and picnics. Instead, customers made their way to furniture stores in our area to maybe get in on some good deals. Erie News Now's Keelan Berrien reports.
Shopping for discounted furniture is something different, especially when we normally spend our Labor Day holidays barbecuing with our family and friends. But this Labor Day is a little wet, keeping barbecues unlit, so the next best thing to do,
Everything is on sale, up to 30% off Hot Buys.
going shopping for Labor Day sales.
We looked around at 4th of July sales, wasn't quite ready to make the jump then. Knew that Labor Day sales were coming up. We waited for them to roll around, and there are better deals.
People are getting in their homes and finding out what they need.
In fact, places like John V. Schultz sales associates say the rain outside is helping with business inside.
Weather always is a help when it does rain a little bit for the holiday.
And customers are just loving these holiday sales on the furniture, but there's still something else that they're being hit with, and that's inflation. And sometimes it stops them from what they want to buy.
Store-wide, all furniture is discounted, but do the current deals ease the pain from inflation?
I think so, yeah. The discounts are definitely making the sale.
Making it more enticing to go now and go buy something.
Great time to buy furniture, because there are some deeper discounts you normally get and some add-on things that you can have, but it's a good time, but yet people are getting more with their needs instead of maybe what they want, so they're being a little bit more frugal.
Labor Day weekend is known to be the end of summer and is often celebrated with sales on back-to-school supplies, appliances, and in this case, furniture. Some businesses are offering awesome deals at a time where your dollar doesn't stretch like it used to.
Keelan Berrien, Erie News Now.
Keelan, thank you. Well, the Byron Waterworld wrapped up their season yesterday. Now, despite that rainy weather, a steady stream of customers flowed in the amusement park and water park as the 2022 season came to an end. Park officials say they had a record-setting season, too, one they desperately needed after struggling the last 2 years. COVID-19 forced shutdowns and restrictions, both of which hampered business, as did a shortage of workers. But this year, the park was fully staffed, catering returned, and a Mother Nature, of course, offered a string of beautiful weekends.
Instead of waking up every day trying to say, what are we going to close today because we can't staff it, it was more like, how can we serve the guests the right way today?
It certainly looks like a lot of fun there. Officials say the last 2 years had been difficult for them, and finally things were getting back to usual, and all that has now paid off in droves. Well, the Buffalo Bills themed Little People Pack, it's back once again, coming to stores in Western New York, including Wegmans locations here in the Jamestown area. Fisher-Price first teamed up with the Rochester-based grocery chain last year to sell this theme pack. This year's Go Bills pack features little people-sized versions of Josh Allen, Sean McDermott, and new this year, Stephon Diggs. Each costs $19.99, and all the net proceeds will be donated to the Children's Hospital of Buffalo Foundation, which supports the John R. O'Shine Children's Hospital. Last year's sale raised a total of $700,000 for that foundation. Now, starting today, fans will be able to purchase the Go Bills pack in stores at Wegmans. The sets are also going to be sold throughout Western New York and Rochester, the Southern Tier, Syracuse, and Buffalo. And if you're not here in the area, good news, you can order it online at Mattel Creations' website. Certainly what a fun way to get into some team spirit. Well, coming up, we break down a plan to reopen a popular gym to the public here in Jamestown after they've been closed now for over 2 years due to the pandemic. But first, Dakota returns with a full look at our weather forecast when we might get some more sun into this live picture in Lakeside Park in Mayville.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
Calling all teachers. Get your year started off right with an evening with Gary Brooks. Come see Gary as he shares his funniest school stories and strategies to build a positive school culture. Go to reginalda.com for tickets and more information.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes! Make a plan today.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense Weather.
Welcome back, everybody. Wanted to give you a live look from the Salamanca Skycam showing you, those cloudy skies are pretty much abode across the southern tier today. It's going to be one of those what you see is what you get kind of days. The fog is still out there, so we still do have some reduced visibilities out there. You can see we're looking at about under 5 miles there. Once you work at Jamestown, 7.5 miles at Randolph, less than a mile in both Delavan and Clymer as well. So we're still dealing with some of that patchy patchy inland fog. And just a reminder how fog forms. This has to do with the nighttime version of fog, but it's all basically about the same thing. It has to do when the air temperature and the dew point are close together or reach the exact temperature, and therefore you get fog, which is just low-lying clouds. Update on the pollen. Still the ragweed is still mainly the culprit. We did wash away some of the pollens obviously yesterday, but pollen is still floating around out there. Thanks to Todd Lewis out in Olean for that report. 65 as a noon hour right now. It's kind of chilly out there, but when you factor in that 62-degree dew point, doesn't kind of feel like it, and that's also helping to create some of the fog as well. So here's the newest one, a future scan. Notice the clouds pretty much throughout much of the afternoon. There will be a couple spotty showers through the afternoon. Mostly light drizzle. That's what we're going to mostly call it through the afternoon hours. Tonight, pretty much we should stay dry, but we're not going to rule out the chance for a couple light showers through the overnight hours. Tomorrow, right around noon, by the time we kick off on News Now at noon tomorrow, you can see here a couple of little isolated showers are definitely not out of the question through the afternoon hours tomorrow. But then finally, we will start to dry out by the time we head into Thursday and Friday. I do think we'll have a couple of nice dry days. So at the bus stop tomorrow morning, 60 degrees for the first full day of school across much of the region, and by the time you head home, 72 degrees. You might want to keep at least a light umbrella or something with the kids as you set them off to school tomorrow, because there will be some raindrops in the afternoon that they will have to contend with. So the next 7 days, powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions, we're up to 72. Tomorrow, the sun returns Thursday and Friday. Does look like we'll get close to around 80 on Saturday. Then the temperatures return to around normal, Justin, by early next week.
All right, certainly feeling a little fall-like, but I guess that helps the kiddos get back to school, right? It's not like they're wanting to necessarily go outside. And
it's gloomy, stay indoors.
Yeah, exactly. So just got to keep their attention, right? All right, thank you, Dakota. Well, now let's get some headlines from around the nation, and a big win in federal court for former President Donald Trump. A judge granted Trump's request to appoint a special master in the FBI's search of Mar-a-Lago. A special master is a third-party attorney from outside the government tasked with reviewing materials that agents seized from his Florida home last month. Trump's lawyers argued that they did not trust the Department of Justice to keep privileged materials out of its ongoing criminal investigation. The privileged materials include documents Trump could have claimed have attorney-client privilege or executive privilege. Now, the judge noted there has been at least 2 instances where investigators may have come across potentially privileged material. Well, today is back to school in Uvalde, Texas, but children will not be going back to Robb Elementary. Instead, many will return with memories of cherished friends and teachers they lost. Mike Valario has more from Uvalde for us.
Well, school is now officially back in session here in Uvalde. This day certainly marking a new chapter, but when you do all of these interviews throughout town, you'll meet so many parents who are certainly hesitant to let go of their children and aren't sure if the school district today is ready.
More than 100 days after the shooting, a cruel nightmare of grief, mourning, and anger in Uvalde, some schools are now fortified.
A little more nervous than normal, but he's got a good teacher.
Angela Potter tells us her son Lucas is starting 3rd grade here at Uvalde Elementary School. He was in Robb Elementary on the day of the shooting, and now, Potter says, she's still afraid to send Lucas and his brother back.
You don't think it can happen to you, and then all of a sudden it does.
Students at Robb are now spread throughout the district. Many parents are opting for virtual learning or private school, saying there's no way they can feel safe here.
Y'all don't care. And you want to know why? It's because y'all's lives weren't robbed.
In the months since the senseless cruelty, 19 children and 2 teachers murdered, Uvalde's superintendent announced new measures that he says will improve security, including at least 33 officers from the Texas Department of Public Safety posted at schools throughout the year, 3 new officers hired for the school district's police force, at least 500 cameras, but installation isn't finished yet, and campus monitors who will walk around continuously to check for open doors and gates.
I trust this fence. It's a school board I don't trust.
And talking about the school board and these meetings coming up, the next meeting is going to be 2 weeks from today. We'll be watching to see if the school superintendent keeps his job. He has also told parents that officers who were at Robb Elementary School the day of the shooting will be in a supporting role protecting children back at school now. In Uvalde, I'm Mike Valerio. Back to you.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. And labor experts say a massive strike could be brewing within the next year at UPS, the world's biggest package courier. It comes ahead of a high-stakes showdown between the company and the Teamsters, one of the nation's oldest labor unions. Their current contract is set to expire at the end of July 2023. Contract negotiations between UPS and the Teamsters union are set to begin in the spring. But before talks have even started, experts are predicting the company's drivers and package handlers will end up going on strike. It would be the largest strike against a single business in U.S. history and would affect nearly every household in America. Well, coming up next, a look at plans to reopen a popular gym here in Jamestown that's been closed to our community for nearly 2 years. Our Alyssa Wright on the other side with the details.
Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights.
Vests.
please give us some room.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over. When you need help,
It's our job
To help you.
to save you.
despite the danger.
This danger is real. Do your part.
Please
Slow down. Slow down. And move over.
move over.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Well, after being closed for 2 years, a local community college is looking to reopen their gym to the public. Our Alyssa Wright joins us live in studio today with more on their plan to do so. Alyssa?
Justin, SUNY JCC had to close their publicly accessible gym when COVID hit and even had to refund some memberships. Now, 2 years later, the college hopes to reopen their total fitness program to the public within the next few months as part of a 4-phase plan.
We shut down for a couple of years, actually. We refunded memberships because we knew we weren't going to be opening for a while. So we know people are anxious to get back in the gym again, back in the fitness center again. We're very excited here at JCC to be working on a 4-phase program to reopen our total fitness center.
Right now, only students and faculty have access to the fitness center, but hopefully within the next month or so, it will fully reopen.
The second phase of our multi-phase plan is to reopen to the public probably sometime in October. Then we're going to be working on kind of a facelift. We're going to be refurbishing a little bit, getting things spruced up a bit. We're looking into some new fitness equipment that we're going to potentially be bringing in.
After all these changes are in place, Phase 4 will commence.
And then the final phase, and don't quote me on this, but what we're trying to do is, in order to be competitive and also to meet the needs of our members, we're trying to work on a 24-hour access to the fitness center.
Staff stress just how important fitness is.
Fitness is extremely important, not only for students. It improves their grade point average. It's been statistically shown that students that are healthier actually do perform better educationally, but it's also important for the general public, for their general health and well-being.
The fitness center has a wide variety of workout machinery, an indoor track, and even a pool.
What we have with Total Fitness is not just the traditional weight room. We also have free weights, dumbbells, a variety of different weight benches. We also have cardio equipment. But what we also have is a pool.
To learn about memberships and opening dates, those interested can visit the Jamestown Community College website, sunyjcc.edu. Justin and Dakota, back to you.
All right, Alyssa, thank you very much for that. And I think it is important, right? We got to get physical and get things moving, and that's one of the hard parts to think about. You know, they say Labor Day, it's the unofficial end of summer, and we're into fall now, so to speak. And so many people like myself, I'm ready for pumpkin spice season.
Yep.
Just get in front of a couch.
I'm in sweatpants right now. What are you talking about?
Oh boy, you know what? It's funny is I believe you actually. Oh no, you do have dress pants on.
I'm not gonna. Well, no, I've actually got khakis, so it was a joke.
Darn, I'd like to have sweatpants on though.
If I rolled in here with sweatpants, I think our general manager probably would have said, "Go back home and change."
Casual Friday?
Stiffen ya, so exactly.
Or
right?
they would have
Yeah.
moved the weather office to the bathroom. One or the other.
That's it for us today. We'll see you back here tomorrow.